Hey, welcome back everybody. So I was out here a couple of days ago testing a new pack stove build, and that worked out pretty well. Check out that video if you get a chance. But I have to tell you, adding the extra 5 pounds of the stove to my already very small pack was just something that I wasn't used to, carrying that little bit extra weight. I had my heavy snowshoes on, the steel ones, and winter boots, and I gotta tell you, I just felt overloaded. And for the first kind of snowshoeing trip of the fall here, I'm going to say, even though I've hiked all summer, my body just wasn't ready for it. So I thought what I'd do is change things out a little bit, come out with some lighter snowshoes, even my boots or my summer boots, go back to the 12-pound pack, more or less the same gear that I was hiking with in September, no stove. Here we got snow and colder temperatures. I'm just getting a little bit of a test here. If things go well, I'm going to stay for a couple of days. I'm quickly losing the light here, but before I get too far into my pack and set up the tarp shelter, I thought I would show you something that I've been doing for quite a while, and that is to carry a couple of small dry bags, especially in the wintertime. This one on the outside here has my lightweight down jacket in it. Normally I would have an extra strap around it so I didn't lose it, but it's really handy. When I stop, I can just throw that on without digging into the rest of my pack, and then when I'm ready to go, just stuff it back in the sack again. And I always carry at least one more, so that when I start to empty things out of this small pack, I've got an extra pair of boot liners, gloves, socks, that kind of thing. It's easy just to throw it in the little dry bag, set it off to the side so it doesn't get wet. One thing I did this year fairly early on is to change out my large water bottle for two smaller ones. These are the half-liter Nalgene's, so about 16 ounces, and each one of those full of water weighs about a pound. So I found that it just distributed the weight a little bit better on my belt. And intentionally clear bottles so that I could tell right away if the water was cloudy, it needed to be filtered, and two different color lids, one blue and one red, just so that I could tell them apart. If one was filtered or boiled and the other one wasn't, it was easy to keep them separate. And the other thing this time of year, I know it's kind of gross, but you got to kind of embrace the pee bottle so that you don't have to get out of your tent in the middle of a cold night. So if the fluid is yellow and the lid is red, you definitely don't want to drink that one. Since I got here late tonight, I'm going to be lazy and use just a little bit of my alcohol gel fuel and make some soup for dinner. I'm using the water that was in the bottle with the red cap, so it'll be empty overnight, but you can already see a little bit of ice forming in that bottle at these temperatures. Just going to melt that out with a little bit of hot water before I make my soup. And the other bottle that's still full is going to come into the sleeping bag with me so it doesn't freeze overnight. Well, it's just after 8 o'clock in the morning, still about minus 13 Celsius, which is where the temperature was for most of the night. Well below the 0-degree rating on this bag. Time to get up, I think. Shake the frost out of the inside of this shelter, have a granola bar for breakfast, and hit the trail again. It's just after 10:30 in the morning. Been on the trail for about an hour and a half this morning. Perfect hiking conditions here today, below freezing temperatures and about 6 inches of fresh snow in places. I'm just going to press on and see how far I get today. Looks like there could be a little bit of weather on the horizon there. I'll just have to keep my eye on that. It's late in the day, snow's pretty deep, and I think it's time to look for a place to stop for the night. So in addition to the gel fuel that I brought this time, I also brought one of my stick stoves, and you guys haven't actually seen this one yet. Basically, it's a shorter version to the last one that I put on the channel, and it incorporates a little bit of a pot stand here. It's only 6:30, but down in this little valley here, the light is already starting to dim. Temperatures dropped down to -7 Celsius, or about 19 Fahrenheit. I've had a good pot of mashed potato soup in me, and about the only thing left to do here is close up that one end on the tarp shelter, and then crawl into a nice warm sleeping bag and thaw out my frozen toes. It's after 8 o'clock in the morning. It was another chilly night last night, -10 Celsius, so it's got to be low teens Fahrenheit. At one point, my sleeping bag and the pad on this mylar sheet were all sliding on the snow south towards the foot end, so I had to get up and dig out a little bit of a pocket to lay in, so that was kind of fun. You know, I think 12 hours in this shelter is long enough. It's time to get up and get out of here. One of the things I'd hoped to do on this trip was to hike up to the ridge and give you guys some good wintertime views, but the weather's just not cooperating here, completely socked in, so I think I'm going to leave it here, but I appreciate you guys coming along on this little adventure with me. Make sure you check out my Instagram page, @Dave's Real Survival, and until next time, take it easy.